My wedding day. I should have been the happiest woman alive. Instead, I sat alone in the bridal suite of the Grand Plaza Hotel, my white gown cascading around me like a pool of broken dreams, waiting for a groom who would never come. The text message arrived at 10:47 a.m. Don't come to the church. Ethan is marrying someone else. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. My hands shook so violently, I nearly dropped the phone. The someone else was Olivia, Ethan's first love, the ghost who had haunted our entire relationship. I arrived at St. Catherine's Church 20 minutes later, my veil askew, my mascara running down my cheeks. The heavy oak doors swung open, and there they stood at the altar. Ethan, in the tuxedo I had helped him pick out, looking devastatingly handsome as he gazed into another woman's eyes. Olivia, wearing my dress, the Vera Wang I had spent 3 months' salary on, altered to fit her slender frame perfectly. Ethan had insisted. I order a size larger for comfort. Now, I understood why. And between them, holding their hands, was my son. Tommy, I whispered, but the word died in my throat. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the minister declared. Tommy, my Tommy, whom I had carried for 9 months, whom I had nearly died bringing into this world, clapped his small hands with delight.
Yay, Daddy. Now I have 2 mommies, but I love Mommy Olivia more.
The congregation erupted in applause. I scanned the pews and spotted Ethan's parents, dabbing at their eyes with tissues, smiling beatifically at the happy couple. They had known. They had all known. My knees buckled. I grabbed a pew to steady myself, my knuckles white against the polished wood. Ethan turned then, and our eyes met across the sanctuary. For a fraction of a second, I saw panic flicker across his face. Then his expression hardened into something resembling annoyance. He strode down the aisle, Olivia trailing behind him like a shadow, Tommy clinging to her hand. Grace, he said, using my name like a curse.
I told the wedding coordinator to call you. Why are you here?
I opened my mouth, but no sound emerged. How does one respond to such a question? Why am I here? I was here because this was supposed to be my wedding, because I had spent 6 months planning every detail, because I loved him. Olivia is ill, he continued, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, as if that explained everything. Terminal, possibly. Her dying wish was to have a wedding. I couldn't deny her that, couldn't deny her. I repeated dumbly, don't make this difficult, Grace. I'll make it up to you. We'll have another ceremony. Something even grander, but today belongs to her. Olivia stepped forward, her eyes glistening with manufactured tears. She placed a delicate hand on Ethan's arm. Please don't blame Ethan. This is all my fault. If you want me to leave, I will. I'll take off the dress right now. She made no move to actually remove the gown. Don't be ridiculous. Ethan snapped at me, though I hadn't spoken. You're not going anywhere, sweetheart. He turned back to me, his lip curling. Grace, you're embarrassing yourself. Either sit down quietly or leave. I looked at Tommy, hoping to see some recognition, some regret in his 4-year-old face. He stuck out his tongue at me. Go away. I don't want you. I want Mommy Olivia. The words pierced my heart like shrapnel. I had read him bedtime stories every night for 4 years. I had bandaged his scraped knees and baked his birthday cakes. And in 3 months of knowing Olivia, she had erased all of it. Fine, I said. My voice sounded foreign to my ears, flat, mechanical. I hope you'll both be very happy. I walked out of the church I had dreamed of marrying in, my heels clicking against the marble floor like a countdown to the end of everything. I met Ethan 3 years ago through a dating app called Spark. My colleague Sarah had nagged me for months to try it. He's younger than you, she had warned, showing me his profile. 26 to your 31. But look at those eyes. Those eyes, forest green, fringed with dark lashes, holding a vulnerability that made me want to protect him from the world. In his photos, he looked like a poet, slightly disheveled, intensely focused on his guitar, or a worn copy of The Great Gatsby. Our first date was at a coffee shop in Brooklyn. He arrived 15 minutes late, breathless and apologetic, his white button-down shirt wrinkled in the most endearing way. I don't usually do this, he said, sliding into the booth across from me. The app thing. It feels so impersonal. Me neither, I admitted. My friend basically created my profile while I was in the bathroom at work. He laughed, and something in my chest unfurled. We talked for 4 hours. He told me about his dreams of becoming a music producer, about his mother's illness, about how he had dropped out of college to care for her. He never mentioned Olivia. Within 3 months, we were living together. Within a year, I was pregnant. Ethan was ecstatic. He proposed with a vintage ring from a pawn shop, kneeling in our cramped kitchen with its view of the brick wall next door. I'll give you the wedding of your dreams, he promised, kissing my swollen belly, the dress, the venue, the works. You deserve everything, Grace. You've been alone so long. Let me take care of you. I had been alone, an orphan since 16, aging out of the foster system with nothing but a scholarship to NYU and a stubborn stubborn refusal to accept defeat. I built my career in marketing from the ground up, working 60-hour weeks, saving every penny. By 30, I owned a condo in Queens outright. Ethan moved in, bringing his guitar and his dreams and his utter lack of employment. He was studying to break into the music industry, he explained. He needed time. He needed support. I gave him both, gladly. I only learned about Olivia 6 months ago. A notification on his phone, a Facebook memory. 5 years ago today. Olivia and Ethan forever. The photo showed them at Coachella, her blonde head resting on his shoulder, both of them blissfully young and in love. She moved to London for grad school, he explained when I confronted him. We were kids. It's ancient history, but ancient history has a way of resurrecting itself. Olivia returned to New York in January, diagnosed with lupus, suddenly alone after a brief marriage. Ethan began checking on her twice a week. Then 3 times, then daily. I told myself I was being paranoid, jealous, unsupportive. I was a fool. The condo felt like a mausoleum when I returned. Every surface held a memory now poisoned. The kitchen island where Ethan had fed me strawberries while I cooked dinner. The balcony where he had proposed. The nursery I had decorated in soft yellows and grays. I pulled a suitcase from the closet and began packing methodically. Clothes, shoes, documents, the jewelry my mother had left me, the only inheritance I had. The lock turned at 6 p.m. Ethan stood in the doorway, his bow tie undone, his hair mussed. He looked like a man who had just enjoyed the best day of his life. "You're overreacting," he said without preamble. "Olivia's condition worsened after the ceremony. She's in Mount Sinai now. You need to come apologize and pay her medical bills. If you handle this maturely, I might reconsider our engagement." I zipped my suitcase and set it upright. "We're done, Ethan. Don't be dramatic. This is exactly why I didn't tell you beforehand. You're so emotional. We didn't even sign the license yet. Technically, nothing happened." "Technically," I echoed. "You married another woman in front of our son. You let him call her mommy. You used my dress, my venue, my carefully curated Pinterest boards." "Your Pinterest boards?" He laughed, a harsh, barking sound. "Jesus, Grace, listen to yourself. Olivia is sick. She's dying. And you're worried about centerpieces?" I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram. Olivia's profile was public, of course. She had been documenting her journey for months. The first photo of them together was dated 2 years ago. Ethan in London, standing before Big Ben. Olivia's hand in his, her wedding ring clearly visible. Not sick, not dying, married. I turned the screen toward him. "Care to explain?" The color drained from his face. That's not what it looks like. She's been married this whole time. You were her affair partner, Ethan. While she was in London, and then when she came back here. All those study sessions and doctor appointments. Shut up. He lunged toward me, hand raised. I sidestepped, catching his wrist and twisting it behind his back, a move from the self-defense classes I had taken after a foster home incident 20 years ago. I slammed him against the wall. "Get out," I said, quietly. "This is my condo. I bought it before I met you. I've paid every mortgage payment, every utility bill, every grocery run while you studied for a career that was never going to happen." "Grace," I said, "get out." I released him. He stumbled, rubbing his wrist, his expression cycling through shock, anger, and finally, desperation. "You can't survive without me," he said, but the words lacked conviction. "You're 34, used up. No family, no looks left. I did you a favor by staying this long." I laughed. It surprised us both. "Pack your things, Ethan. You have 1 hour before I call the police." I froze his credit cards that night. All 3 of them linked to my accounts. The next morning, I transferred the balance of our joint account into one under my name only. Let him survive on his own for once. The phone calls began at 9 a.m. "How dare you?" he screamed. "I have expenses. Olivia needs medication. Get a job. That's not fair. I'm studying. I'm going to be someone." "You've been studying for 4 years, Ethan. You've never held a job longer than 3 months. The only reason you could play house with Olivia is because I funded it." The line went silent. Then, quieter. "You knew?" "I know everything now, including the fact that Olivia isn't sick. She had a miscarriage. She was pregnant with your child, wasn't she? That's why you rushed the wedding. You wanted to legitimize your bastard before she lost it." More silence. I had learned this from a nurse friend at Mount Sinai. Olivia's lupus was a cover story for a high-risk pregnancy that she had endangered with her wedding day theatrics. The baby was gone now, and she was billing me for the D&C. $50,000, I said. "That's what you owe me. The down payment on your music equipment, the loan for your mother's fake surgery, the trips to Miami you took with Olivia. I want it back in 48 hours, or I'm going public." "You wouldn't," he whispered. whispered. Nobody knows about you. My friends, my family, they think Olivia and I have been together for years. They'll think you're a crazy stalker. He was right. In all our time together, he had never introduced me to his college friends, his music industry contacts, his extended family. I had been his secret benefactor, hidden away while he maintained a public image of a struggling artist. Then I'll be the crazy stalker with receipts, I said, and hung up. I found Olivia's husband easily enough. David Carrington, a finance executive based in London. I sent him an email, anonymous, professional, devastating. Your wife has been conducting a 2-year affair with my fiancé. The attached documentation includes photographs, hotel receipts, and Instagram archives. I thought you should know before she asks you for reconciliation. His response came 3 hours later. Thank you. 2 days after that, Olivia's Instagram announced her difficult decision to end my marriage and follow my heart. The comments were sympathetic. Poor, brave girl, choosing love over security. Ethan showed up at my office the following Monday, his eyes red-rimmed, his hands shaking. David filed for divorce, he snarled. Olivia's reputation is ruined. She can't even show her face at her yoga studio. Are you happy? Ecstatic. He grabbed my arm. Take it back. Tell David you lied. Pay for Olivia's lawyer. Do something. I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. Or what? Or I'll destroy you. He released me and stormed out. I should have taken the threat more seriously. The post went live Tuesday night. Exposed. The woman who tried to destroy my family. It appeared on a gossip blog called Manhattan Darling, accompanied by my LinkedIn photo, my home address, my phone number, and a narrative so twisted it bordered on surreal. According to Olivia, I was a 42-year-old executive. I was 34, who had targeted her husband Ethan at a conference. We met on an app. I had stalked and harassed him for years, forced him to accept expensive gifts, and finally snapped when I learned of their marriage, attempting to extort them for $100,000. The comments section exploded. Home-wrecking witch deserves to burn. Women like this are why I don't trust female colleagues. Someone should teach her a lesson. I know where she works. By Wednesday morning, my phone was unusable. Hundreds of texts, most of them variations on die bitch or unsolicited genitalia. My email filled with death threats. Someone had created a Craigslist ad offering my services with my real number attached. At the office, my boss called me into her office. Linda had always been fair, if distant. Grace, this is unfortunate. The firm can't be associated with this kind of publicity. Take a leave of absence. Indefinite. You're firing me. Suspending you, with pay, until this blows over. It wouldn't blow over. I knew how the internet worked. Olivia had weaponized the very visibility I had given her through my silence. That evening, she went live on TikTok. Hey besties, she cooed, her makeup perfectly applied, a silk robe draped over her shoulders. I know you've all been asking about the situation with the stalker. I just want to say, hold on, I'm getting emotional. I'm so grateful for your support. Ethan and I are focusing on our little family now. Tommy is adjusting so well to having a stable home. She wiped away a non-existent tear. The comments scrolled by too fast to read, hearts and affirmations and promises to cancel me. And to that woman, Olivia continued, her voice hardening. If you're watching, yes, I know you are. We're not scared of you. The truth is out. Everyone knows what you are. I watched from my sister's couch. Sarah had insisted I stay with her after the doxing. My hands steady, despite the rage coursing through me. I had hired a lawyer that morning. I had preserved every screenshot. I had engaged a reputation management firm to track the IP addresses of the most vicious commenters. Let them talk. Let them scream. The louder, the better. I opened my laptop and began composing my own post. I didn't publish immediately. My attorney, Marcus Chen, advised patience. Let her dig her own grave, he said. Every post, every live stream, every comment is evidence. We're looking at defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, violation of New York's revenge porn laws. Though she didn't post explicit images, the intent is similar. How long? Another week, maybe 2. We want damages, Grace. Real, quantifiable damages. Lost wages, therapy costs, security expenses. The more she posts, the higher the number. I spent those weeks in Sarah's guest room, watching my life burn in real time. Olivia's TikTok following grew to 2 million. She launched a wellness brand called Second Chances, selling overpriced journals and essential oils to women who saw her as a survivor. Ethan appeared in her videos occasionally, looking uncomfortable but compliant. They monetized my destruction. The harassment escalated. Someone threw a brick through Sarah's window. I received a package containing a dead rat. A man followed me from the grocery store to Sarah's building, screaming that I was a whore until security intervened. Through it all, I documented, I recorded, I preserved. 2 months after the wedding, Olivia made her mistake. She found me. I was leaving my therapist's office. Ironic, given that she had claimed I was mentally unstable, When she stepped out of a black SUV, her phone already recording. "There she is, everyone," she announced to her live audience. "The woman who tried to ruin my life. Let's ask her why she did it, shall we?" She thrust the phone toward my face. I turned away, shielding myself with my purse, but she grabbed my shoulder, her nails digging in. "Don't run away now. You had plenty to say online. Tell my followers how you slept with my husband. Tell them how you threatened to kill my son." "I never." "Liar." She shoved me. I stumbled backward, my heel catching on the sidewalk. I went down hard, my palms scraping concrete, my ankle twisting beneath me. The video cut off there, but not before capturing my fall, my cry of pain, my helplessness. It went viral within hours. Stalker Getchers trended nationally. News outlets picked up the story. Wellness influencer confronts alleged harasser. Olivia gave interviews, dabbing at her eyes, describing my attack on her. "She came at me," she told Good Morning America. "I was just defending myself. I have a child to protect. I spent 3 days in the hospital with a fractured ankle and a concussion." Sarah posted my $50,000 bail when they arrested me for assault. Olivia had filed charges, complete with fabricated witness statements. That was when Marcus made his move. The press conference was held on the steps of the Manhattan courthouse. Marcus stood before a wall of microphones, myself in a wheelchair beside him, my leg in a cast, my face still bruised from the fall. 3 months ago, Marcus began. My client, Grace Brennan, was a successful marketing executive with no criminal record and an unblemished reputation. Today, she has been falsely accused of stalking, assault, and extortion. She has lost her job, her home, and her health. She has been doxxed, threatened, and physically attacked. He clicked a remote. The screen behind us filled with evidence. Olivia's original posts, the contradictions in her timeline, the IP addresses linked to the most threatening messages, several traced to devices registered to Ethan, and finally, the financial records. "Miss Hartley, Olivia Hartley, has perpetrated a fraud," Marcus continued. "She was never married to Mr. Ethan Cole when she claimed to be. She was never diagnosed with lupus. She was, in fact, married to another man throughout her affair with Mr. Cole, and she used her platform to orchestrate a harassment campaign against the woman Mr. Cole had actually been engaged to, my client." The murmur in the crowd grew. Marcus held up his hand. "Today, we are filing a civil suit for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and civil conspiracy. We are also submitting evidence to the district attorney's office regarding criminal charges including perjury, falsification of business records, and cyberstalking." He turned to me. I gripped the arms of my wheelchair and stood, wincing but upright. "I have one thing to say to Olivia Hartley," I said, my voice clear despite my shaking hands. "You wanted an audience. You got one. The arrests happened live." Olivia was in the middle of a sponsored stream, promoting a stress relief supplement when the FBI agents walked in. The feed stayed live for 11 minutes, capturing her confusion, her protests, her eventual screaming as they read her rights. Ethan was picked up an hour later at their shared apartment. He wasn't charged. Olivia had protected him, claiming he knew nothing of her social media management, but his complicity was obvious to anyone watching. The internet turned overnight. The same accounts that had threatened me now posted apologies. The brands that had dropped me sent reconciliation offers. Linda called, offering my job back with a promotion. I declined. I had other plans. The settlement was $2.4 million. Olivia's wellness empire was liquidated to pay it. She pled guilty to multiple felonies in exchange for a reduced sentence, 5 years in federal prison, followed by deportation to the UK. Ethan visited me once, 2 weeks after Olivia's sentencing. I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop near Marcus's office. Public, neutral, safe. He looked terrible. Unshaven, sunken-eyed, wearing clothes that hung loose on his frame. "Grace," he said, sliding into the booth across from me. "I want to apologize for everything." I sipped my latte. Okay, I didn't know she would go that far. The posts, the harassment, I thought she was just venting. I tried to stop her, but she was so relentless. "You didn't try very hard." He flinched. "I know. I was weak. I was stupid. I let her convince me that you were the enemy, that you were trying to trap me, control me. She said you were too old for me, too demanding, that you didn't understand my artistic needs, and you believed her. I wanted to believe her." He looked down at his hands. "You were so capable, Grace. So competent. You had your life together. And I was failing at everything. Olivia made me feel like a genius, a victim of circumstance. You made me feel like a leech. You were a leech, Ethan. I just loved you enough not to see it." He reached across the table. I pulled my hand back. "Is there any chance," he whispered, "any chance at all that you could forgive me? For Tommy's sake, if nothing else, he misses you. He asks for you every night." I thought of my son, the child I had carried, nursed, sung to sleep. The child who had called another woman mommy and wished me dead. "Tommy made his choice," I said. "So did you." I stood, gathering my bag. Goodbye, Ethan. Wait, he scrambled to his feet. What about the money? The $50,000 I owe you. I'll pay it back. I swear. I'm working now, 2 jobs. I'll send every penny. Keep it, I said. Consider it the price of my freedom. I walked out into the autumn sunlight, my ankle still aching but my heart lighter than it had been in years. I met Alex at a gallery opening 6 months later. Sarah had dragged me out, insisting that I was withering in my new apartment. My new job as a consultant, my new carefully constructed solitude. He's too young for you, she whispered, nodding toward the man examining the abstract sculpture in the corner. But look at those arms. He was young, 29 to my 35, but his eyes were old, kind. He caught me staring and smiled unembarrassed. Do you understand this? He asked, gesturing to the sculpture, a twisted mass of metal that supposedly represented the maternal struggle. Not even slightly, I admitted. Thank God. I was worried I was the only Philistine here. We talked until the gallery closed, then moved to a wine bar, then a late-night diner. He was a physical therapist, he explained, specializing in sports injuries. He had never been married, had no children, had no interest in becoming a wellness influencer. I like fixing things, he said, swirling his coffee. Bodies, mostly, but I'm good with furniture, too. I restored a 1,920s credenza last year. Very satisfying. He walked me home, declining my invitation upstairs with a gentle, I'd like to see you again when we're both sober enough to remember it. We dated for 3 months before I told him everything. Ethan, Olivia, Tommy, the trial, the settlement. He listened without interruption, his hand covering mine. You're wondering if I'm another project, I said. Another broken thing to fix. I'm wondering, he replied, if you'd let me take you to Vermont next weekend. There's a B&B with excellent pancakes and no Wi-Fi. I think you could use a few days without notifications. I laughed, surprised by the sound. I'd like that. We were married 18 months later, in a ceremony with 12 guests, no social media, and no white dress. I wore blue, the color of open skies and new beginnings. Alex's mother baked the cake. Sarah was my maid of honor. There were no influencers, no sponsors, no viral moments, just promises, quietly kept. I heard about Ethan's death on the evening news. It was a slow news day in February, 3 years after my wedding. That wasn't. The anchor, someone too young to remember the wellness influencer scandal, read the item with practiced solemnity. In Queens this morning, police discovered the body of Ethan Cole, 34, in his apartment. Cole had been reported missing by his employer after failing to show for his shift at a local restaurant. Authorities have arrested his son, Thomas Cole, 16, in connection with the homicide. According to sources, the dispute allegedly centered around money for a luxury item. The suspect is being charged as an adult. The screen showed a mugshot. Tommy, but not the Tommy I remembered. This was a stranger with hollow cheeks, dead eyes, and a smirk that made my blood run cold. Alex muted the television. Grace, I'm fine. I wasn't. My hands were shaking, my vision tunneling. I should feel something. Relief? Satisfaction? I don't feel anything. Just empty. He pulled me onto the couch, wrapping his arms around me. I breathed in his scent, sandalwood and soap, and let the tears come. Ethan had tried to contact me twice after my marriage to Alex. The first time, he sent a letter, apologetic, rambling, full of updates about his progress. He was working 3 jobs. He wrote, Tommy was struggling in school. Olivia had stopped writing from prison. He was so sorry, so endlessly sorry. I didn't respond. The second time, he appeared at my office building, a violation of the restraining order I had obtained after the letter. Security removed him, but not before he shouted that he needed to explain. That I had to understand, that he was a changed man. I changed buildings, changed jobs, changed my routine. Now he was dead, and the boy I had loved more than life itself had killed him over an iPhone. The details emerged over the following weeks. Tommy had dropped out of school, developed a drug habit, joined a gang. Ethan, working double shifts at a diner to support them, couldn't afford the latest model iPhone Tommy demanded. The argument escalated. Tommy grabbed a knife. Ethan's last words, according to the police report, were, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I don't know who he was apologizing to. Tommy, me, himself, the universe. It doesn't matter now. I attended the funeral alone, standing at the back of the small chapel in Queens. Tommy wasn't there. He was in Rikers, awaiting trial. A few of Ethan's coworkers sat in the front row, looking uncomfortable in their only suits. No family, no friends from the music industry, no one from the life he had built on my foundation. I placed a single white rose on the casket, a gesture for the boy I had loved in that Brooklyn coffee shop, not the man he had become. Outside, the February wind cut through my coat. I pulled it tighter and walked toward the subway, toward Manhattan, toward my life with Alex and our daughter, Lily, waiting at home with her babysitter. Grace? I turned. A man stood at the chapel steps, 50-ish, graying, with Ethan's eyes. "I'm David," he said. "David Carrington, Olivia's ex-husband." I nodded, waiting. "I wanted to thank you," he said, "for telling me the truth. It saved me years of misery. I remarried. I have twins now. Congratulations." He hesitated, and I wanted to say, "I'm sorry, for my part in all this. If I had been a better husband, maybe Olivia wouldn't have." "Don't," I said gently. "We all made choices, Mr. Carrington. Ethan's, Olivia's, mine. We all chose our paths." I left him there, staring after me. On the subway, I checked my phone. 3 texts from Alex, 1 photo of Lily covered in spaghetti. A reminder about our dinner reservation tonight. Normal life. Real life. I thought about Ethan, about the wedding that wasn't mine. About the years I had spent trying to love someone who couldn't love himself. I thought about Tommy, about nature versus nurture, about whether I could have changed his fate if I had fought harder, stayed longer, loved more. Then I put the phone away and watched the city blur past the windows. Some things can't be fixed. Some people can't be saved. The best we can do is survive them, learn from them, and build something better from the ruins. The train emerged from the tunnel, into the light of a cold but clear afternoon. I was 38 years old. I was alive. I was loved. It was enough. It was more than enough. She runs a consulting firm specializing in reputation management and digital security. She has never downloaded TikTok. I'm Grace Brennan. I was betrayed, broken, and humiliated, but I fought back. I chose myself, and now I'm happy. That's my story.